There is a state of emergency in the WNBA right now. Their only star, their cash cow, the only player capable of capturing interest from people who aren't identifying as they, them. Caitlin Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks and possibly longer with a quad strain.
Ticket prices for the Fever vs. Sky game at the United Center just crashed, down 71% in a single day. Fans are demanding refunds, canceling trips, and offloading tickets at huge losses. The league gambled big by moving games to massive arenas, betting everything on Caitlin Clark's star power. Now, empty seats are everywhere, and panic is setting in. So where's the Angel Reese effect everyone keeps hyping up? Spoiler, it was never real to begin with. Let's all wish Caitlin Clark a speedy recovery. Comment get well soon CC down below. Let's go.
There wasn't any worry going on in the WNBA executive offices. If there was no worry, oh, people aren't going to turn off. Oh, people are still going to show up. If that was the thought that they were having up there in WNBA La La Land, well, now might be the time to hit the panic button.
The moment news broke about Caitlin Clark's injury, fans started panic selling their tickets faster than Angel Reese misses jumpers. The Chicago Sky thought they had made a genius business decision, moving their June 7th game against the Fever to the United Center, home of the Chicago Bulls. They were banking on Clark's star power to draw a massive crowd and justify premium ticket prices. But with Clark sidelined, that plan unraveled fast.
48 hours after news hits that Caitlin Clark is injured and she'll be missing 2 weeks, the market has responded and the market has told the WNBA, we don't want this. We want her, but we don't want this.
Within hours of the injury announcement, those big dreams crashed harder than a wide-open Angel Reese layup. Ticket prices for the United Center game nosedive, from $86 for entry-level seats all the way down to just $25. That's a brutal 71% drop in a single day. The Sky went from expecting a sellout payday to bracing for a sea of empty seats before tip-off even arrived.
The reality is, at this point, we don't know how much time Caitlin Clark is going to miss. If it were up to Uncle KC, Caitlin Clark would miss the remainder of the regular season so jealous, entitled players in the WNBA can be reminded that no one is watching for them. No one is staying home on a Saturday afternoon to watch Natasha Cloud. Outside of Vlad Pooter, no one's buying tickets to see Bob Griner, and no one, I mean no one, is paying to see Angel Reese attempt to play basketball.
Real fans were forced to make tough calls that exposed just how massive Caitlin Clark's impact truly is. One dedicated supporter canceled his flights and hotel bookings for the upcoming Connecticut Sun game in Indianapolis, saying, "We're Caitlin fans before we're Fever fans. She's the main attraction. That's who the girls want to see."
When it comes to the Chicago Sky game, the marquee matchup in the WNBA, like it or love it, rivalry or not, Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, that is the marquee matchup in the WNBA, and those tickets are crashing just as well. From $86 48 hours ago to $25. And by the time June 7th rolls around, it might cost you a bag of Skittles and some Lay's potato chips to get.
The Washington Mystics found themselves in the same nightmare. They had relocated their Fever matchup to the largest CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore, gambling on Caitlin Clark's star power to pack the stands. But once word of her injury spread, ticket prices tanked, plummeting from $41 to just $22. That 47% drop turned their big bet into a looming financial disaster.
A majority of these are everyday, normal people who watch Caitlin Clark in Iowa, watch her in her first year in Indiana, said, man, I want to watch that. I want to go to those games. I want to experience that. They won't be able to experience it. Time to sell. Families that are going to be driving a state over, 2 states over, commuting 4 hours, getting a hotel room, paying for parking, paying for this, they're not doing that anymore. People from flying across the pond, they're not flying across the pond to watch the Indiana Fever. Stop it, WNBA. They're flying across the pond to watch CC20.
TickPick data revealed just how brutal the collapse really was. Average ticket prices for the 4 games Caitlin Clark was expected to miss dropped from $137 to $80. This wasn't a slight dip or a routine market shift. Teams that banked on her popularity were suddenly staring at half-empty arenas and furious season ticket holders demanding refunds. The market didn't just cool, it crashed, exposing a reality the WNBA has been reluctant to admit. Their recent surge in popularity hinges almost entirely on one player. The financial fallout was swift and undeniable. Caitlin Clark isn't just another rising star. She asterisk the show. She's the reason casual fans buy tickets, the reason families plan weekend trips around WNBA games. Without her, the league feels a lot less electric.
Indiana Fever ticket prices to games over the next 2 weeks have dropped 42% since Caitlin Clark's injury announcement, an average ticket price of $137, all the way down to $80. People are selling their tickets, definitely can't get face value, so what do? They just continue to lower and lower and lower and lower and lower the price. This isn't all resellers, folks. Hate to break it to you. A majority of these are everyday normal people.
Meanwhile, Chicago Sky fans were likely left scratching their heads, wondering why their own so-called superstar couldn't generate even a fraction of this buzz. Angel Reese has never driven ticket prices up, never caused fans to cancel travel plans, and certainly never forced teams to move games to larger arenas. The contrast is impossible to ignore. When one player's injury sparks a league-wide economic panic and another's best performances barely register with the public, it says everything. TV ratings paint an even starker picture. During the 2024 season, Caitlin Clark was responsible for 26.5% of the WNBA's entire engagement, ticket sales, merchandise, and viewership combined. One rookie, driving more than a quarter of the league's total impact. But the real wake-up call comes from the viewing numbers. They don't just highlight her popularity. They expose a harsh truth for anyone still clinging to the idea that other players can match her star power.
Angel Reese, Under Pressure. When you think about it, there have been so many classic songs written about the WNBA dump. Obviously, Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie, which directly applies to what Angel Reese and her colleagues are going through right now. An immense amount of pressure to carry this dump of a league while Caitlin Clark recovers from a quad strain.
Of the 23 WNBA games that crossed the 1 million viewer mark this season, guess how many featured Caitlin Clark? 20. Let that sink in. Without Clark on the court, the league struggles to reach the kind of numbers she pulls effortlessly just by stepping onto the floor. Games with Clark averaged 1.178 million viewers. The rest of the WNBA? Just 394,000. That's not a gap, that's a canyon. A staggering difference that proves she's not just boosting interest. She asterisk the interest.
With Caitlin Clark injured, the WNBA will be reliant on their other stars to carry the league. I'm not just talking about ratings. I'm not just talking about attendance. The WNBA will be reliant on their other stars to maintain the interest of the mainstream. With Angel Reese being the only player with mainstream name recognition, most of the pressure, it is going to be on her to perform. And we have plenty of evidence that proves Angel Reese is not qualified to carry the league.
Teams that built their nationally televised schedules around fever matchups are now grappling with a harsh reality. Without Caitlin Clark, those ratings don't come close. ESPN and other networks structure their entire WNBA programming strategy around Clark's ability to draw a crowd. In 2025, a staggering 41 out of 44 Indiana Fever games will be nationally televised, the most of any team in the league. That's no coincidence. Networks plan their schedules and marketing campaigns around one simple fact. If Clark's playing, the viewers show up. Of the few games that crack 1 million viewers without...
People might be saying, oh, well, the teams aren't really going to suffer. They already sold the tickets. No. You don't understand. If the Chicago Sky moved into the United Center, and let's say resale-wise, they sold all 19,000, well, when only 9 to 10,000 show up, they're losing merchandise sales, they're losing food sales, they're losing beverage sales, they're losing big. They took a big gamble to get into that arena, and they're losing big because it's not going to be full, and those people aren't going to be buying things there.
Clark's injury has unintentionally created the perfect natural experiment. Who really moves the needle in women's basketball? The viewership data leaves no room for debate. Caitlin Clark brings in casual fans who simply don't show up for anyone else, no matter how hard the media tries to manufacture hype or push rivalries. You can script storylines, create drama, and promote must-watch matchups all day long, but you can't fake the kind of star power that actually translates to millions of eyeballs.
2 weeks ago, last year, if you wanted to get a glimpse of Caitlin Clark, try to get that autograph, it would have cost you $300 to get in the building. It would have cost you $200 to get in the building, $500 to get in the building, and then you got to fight to get close enough. Now you have a pretty good opportunity. $25 to get in the building. Let me make my way down because nobody's going to be there. Hey, Caitlin. And she loves her fans, so she's going to sign. She loves her. Hey, Caitlin, I came all the way. Can I get an autograph, please? It sucks you don't play. Oh, yeah. Sign. So for those that are looking for a Caitlin Clark autograph, now might be your best chance to get that at a reasonable price.
Remember all the talk about the so-called Angel Reese effect, how she was supposedly drawing big crowds too. Well, Clark's injury just shattered that myth. Reese had previously downplayed Clark's influence, insisting the WNBA's growth was a result of multiple players sharing the spotlight and lifting the sport together. She painted a picture of a balanced rise, where no single player stood above the rest. But this moment exposed the truth. It's not a group effort driving the surge in popularity. It's Caitlin Clark, front and center.
My inside sources are telling me that Mama Reese demands free tickets. The Chicago Bravado, they happily oblige because they're also giving away free tickets to the other dozen or so people that show up to the arena.
But when Clark went down with her injury, where exactly was the so-called Reese effect that was supposed to keep fans engaged? Chicago's Sky ticket sale for non-fever games stayed exactly where they've always been, mediocre at best. Even in her own city, Reese couldn't move a needle if she truly had the star power people claim. You'd expect Sky fans to show up in force, especially when
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. It's because of me too, and I want you to realize.
Reese's social media following might look impressive on paper, but it doesn't translate to ticket sales or TV ratings when it counts. Having 3 million Instagram followers means nothing if those people aren't showing up to arenas or tuning in on game night. The numbers don't lie. When it comes to getting fans to open their wallets and spend money on WNBA games, only one player is consistently delivering. And it's not Angel Reese.
Sorry, young lady. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody would be watching the WNBA additionally for you. This is all about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is bringing the money to the game, the planes to the game, the TV viewership. The WNBA is on fire because of Caitlin Clark.
The truth is hard to ignore. Angel Reese needs Caitlin Clark far more than Clark needs her. Their so-called rivalry only captures attention when both asterisks are involved. Without Clark, the spark disappears. When Clark isn't in the picture, Reese's games quickly blend back into the noise of a typical WNBA schedule. The Sky versus Fever matchups drew buzz because of the dynamic clash between two contrasting stars. Not because Reese can command that kind of interest on her own. The LSU fans may have followed Reese into the WNBA initially, but they're not lining up to watch her on a random Tuesday night against teams like Connecticut or Vegas. College loyalty only stretches so far.
Even though the mainstream media wants us to believe that Angel Reese is a huge star, we have years of evidence that proves otherwise. Like I say all the time, there is a huge difference between a star and a draw. You can be a star, you can be famous, and still not be able to draw flies to a fresh turf.
Clark's injury created the perfect test case for who truly drives interest in women's basketball, and the results weren't even close. The moment she was out of the lineup, ticket prices collapsed and fan engagement vanished. Meanwhile, games featuring only Angel Reese continued to draw the same low attendance and modest viewership numbers they always have. Take Clark out of the equation, and the buzz disappears with her.
Once you remove Caitlin Clark from the equation, there's no reason for people to watch this league, which is why people haven't been watching Angel Reese throughout her career. Her final season at LSU This was the pinnacle of her drawing power. Angel Reese was coming off of winning a national championship. She was making cameos in these atrocious rap videos with Cardi B and some girl named Lado. Now keep in mind, this was before her public image was tainted. This was before Angel Reese was playing the role of the villain. Her final season at LSU, Angel Reese was filling the arena to 88% capacity. On the road, it was significantly worse. She was averaging just over 8,000 a game on the road.
The league is quickly learning a hard truth. Star power can't be manufactured through media narratives or social media hype. You either bring in crowds, or you don't. And the numbers don't lie. Mainstream media can frame Angel Reese as a major star all they want, but Clark's absence exposed the gap. Reese simply doesn't command the same audience. That there's a big difference between being famous and being a true draw in professional basketball, and that difference has never been clearer.
Her rookie year with the Chicago Bravado, the numbers were eerily similar. It was around 88% capacity. Angel Reese averaged around 8,700 a game. Going into 2025, Angel Reese was the only star in the secondary dump unrivaled. For the first time in her career, it was her opportunity to prove that she could draw. It was her opportunity to prove that she did not need Caitlin Clark to draw an audience. What was the end result? Unrivaled averaged 221,000 viewers.
The Fever are now facing their toughest challenge since drafting Caitlin Clark. Can they stay competitive without their franchise cornerstone for at least 4 games? With Clark in the lineup, they averaged 90.2 points per game. Now, they are tasked with finding offense without their leading scorer and primary playmaker. This isn't just about filling in for one player. It's about completely reworking their system on both ends of floor.
Angel Reese, she's great at creating stories. She knows how to manipulate the media. Girl, if this dump don't give me a raise, I'll refuse to play. We gon' clap back at them haters. We gon' tell Adam Silver to give us our bag. Yeah, Adam Silver is gonna give you a bag. He's gonna give you a grocery bag and tell you to load it in the person's car who actually had the money to buy the groceries.
Kelsey Mitchell now steps into the spotlight as a veteran leader, tasked with carrying the scoring burden and handling the defensive pressure that used to target Clark. With opponents no longer focused on Clark, Mitchell will become the focal point of every defensive game plan. She'll face more double teams, tighter coverage, and less room to operate, forcing her to make faster decisions and create shots under pressure. Mitchell averaged 19.2 points per game last season, but with Clark sidelined, she'll need to push that number closer to 25 while staying efficient. It's a heavy load, but one she has to shoulder if the Fever hope to stay afloat.
I think so. I think that's the advantage of our depth, right? And we, Sophie had injury early as well. I think it's the advantage of us, the depth that we added in the offseason, that we're equipped. Certainly we'd rather have it early than late. It's a great opportunity for our team to find an identity. It's a great opportunity for our team to play in a different way.
Aliyah Boston now becomes a key piece in the Fever survival plan. With Clark, their top three-point shooter and floor general, out, opponents will likely collapse into the paint, daring Indiana to beat them from perimeter. That means Boston will face more physical coverage in crowded lanes, but also more offensive opportunities. She'll need to take advantage of every touch, scoring efficiently in the post and crashing the glass for second chance points as the team struggles to create clean looks. Her presence inside becomes even more critical in Clark's absence. Meanwhile, the Fever's coaching staff faces a tough decision. Do they slow down the pace that Clark helped fuel, or try to maintain their identity without the player who made it all work? Indiana has been one of the league's fastest-paced teams, but that up-tempo star relies on a point guard who can push the break and make quick reads. Without Clark, they'll need to rethink everything. Their playoff hopes could depend on how well they adapt.
I don't think we change how we play. I think we change what the emphasis is, right? Our off-ball actions as opposed to some of our on-ball actions. When we get to our on-ball actions, utilizing our personnel in a different way. You might not see as much of AB getting the ball on a dive and a pick and roll as you would in some of the other off-ball screening actions that get her to that point. or where our shots come from. You know, a lot of times with C and the ball in our hands, our shots are coming above the break. Right now, we might get the ball moving inline to inline when we're moving it side to side. So I don't think it changes how we play. I think it just changes the emphasis on the actions that we get to.
Key players like Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham now have a real opportunity to prove they belong. But the early signs highlight just how big the void left by Clark truly is. Hull needs to become a reliable perimeter threat, someone defenses can't afford to leave open, while Cunningham is being asked to take on more playmaking duties in a system that suddenly feels incomplete, the harsh reality. Simply staying near .500 may be the best-case scenario during this stretch. These upcoming games against Washington, Connecticut, and Chicago were supposed to be momentum builders. Now, they're about survival. Instead of climbing the standings, the Fever's focus shifts to avoiding a free fall that could derail their season entirely, hoping Caitlin Clark returns in time to rescue what's quickly turning into a dangerous slide.
I also think it's a great opportunity for Caitlin to watch the game from the sideline and to grow in almost like a coaching kind of mindset and see some different things that we might be talking about on film, addressing in practice to see it develop in live action.
The WNBA just got a harsh reality check. This is what happens when you build your entire growth strategy around one player, and that player goes down. Clark's injury exposed an uncomfortable truth. The league's recent surge in popularity isn't as stable as many believed. But it also highlighted just how irreplaceable she is to women's basketball. When she returns, every team, every network, and every fan will have a deeper appreciation for what she brings to the game. The Fever need her back if they hope to make a playoff push, and the league needs her healthy to sustain the momentum of this breakthrough season. Drop a get well soon. CC in the comments to show your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a moment. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.